Hi, this is the business guy with Asset Protection Planners, and today we're talking about how to start an LLC. And the bulk of this information will work no matter where you're from. So why listen to me on this topic? Because I've personally been the CEO of a company formation firm since 1991, so over 30 years. We have, I believe, over 70,000 clients in our database. I am the author of 4 books on the topic. We currently have attorneys on our full-time staff who are licensed in 7 different states. We form LLCs in all 50 states and many foreign countries. And I haven't seen anybody on YouTube cover this topic who has set up more LLCs. I'm talking about thousands and thousands of LLCs that we formed in the US and internationally. Plus, we provide registered agent services nationwide and internationally. So if you want to learn about how to start an LLC from somebody with experience, well, you may have just come to the right place. And by the way, can you please help me out by clicking the like button below so YouTube promotes this video? I really appreciate it. You can text the link of this video to anybody who needs it. And you can also click the subscribe button so that when more videos come out like this, you'll get notified. So I'm going to go over the exact steps you need to go through if you're going to start your own LLC. In fact, we had a client who called us recently who was getting divorced. He's an older guy. I think he's like 70 years old, wealthy guy, multimillionaire. His wife was from Russia, beautiful, in her 20s. And the day she gets her citizenship, she comes home and tells him she wants to divorce him. Take half of everything he has. Well, ain't that a surprise? So we set up a series of LLCs for his properties, did some equity stripping, set up a couple of offshore LLCs inside of an international asset protection trust. So now he can negotiate from a position of strength instead of having an opposing attorney leaving him dangling upside down from a tree with his pockets turned inside out. So how do you set up an LLC? And not only how do you set it up, but how do you set it up right? Because when the bullets are flying in the courtroom, if you do even one little thing wrong, you open yourself up to losing everything you own. Step number 1, name. Come up with a name. And it needs to be unique. If it's just letters like JB LLC, or if your name is John and your wife's name is Mary, you're very unlikely to get J&M LLC or J&M Enterprises, because more likely than not, it'll be taken by somebody else's LLC. So if possible, pick a word, a real word or a made-up word. Think of Microsoft, Safeway, Publix, Exxon. Those are just made-up words. Costco, or people's names. Wells Fargo, founded by Henry Wells and William Fargo. Boeing, by its founder William E. Boeing. J.P. Morgan, John Deere. Or a made-up word containing your name connected to another word or sound such as Sam Walton and Walmart. You also greatly increase your odds that your company name is available when you add a second word, especially if your first word is unique. So instead of Sunshine LLC, it's Sunshine Enterprises LLC. So here are some good second words: Enterprises, Holdings, Ventures, Industries, Syndicate, Partners, Associates, Consulting, Performance, Pacific, Atlantic, Global, Worldwide, International, Institute, Endeavors, Advisors, Capital, and I put all these words down below for you. Now, most state websites have places where you can search to see if your chosen name is available. And just because you look it up and you think it's available doesn't mean it is. Some states say adding the word enterprises to a name does not make it definitive enough from another similar name. So they want to prove it. In Texas, just about any company starting with Lone Star is going to be taken. In most states, if you have a name such as Kentucky Fried Chicken, LLC, you can't have a company called Kentucky Fried Chicken, Inc. That is, you can't have a corporation and an LLC with the same name. In California, however, they separate the name availability of corporations and LLCs. So you can have a corporation and an LLC with the same name in California, but you can't have 2 different LLCs or 2 different corporations with the same name. So the rules are different in different states. And then if a name is taken in Florida, but nobody has taken that name in Wyoming, you can name the Wyoming LLC the same name as the Florida LLC and get that name. Number 2, jurisdiction. Decide where you want to form your LLC. What about setting up an LLC in a state such as Delaware, Nevada, or Wyoming and using it back in your own state to run a business? Is that okay? And the answer is yes, it is perfectly fine. We just have to file usually 1 or 2 extra pieces of paper in your state so it can do business there. Now, some people online just wave their hands like somebody's father trying to protect you, but you're likely a grown-up making your own decisions, so if I lay it all out there and inform you and let you decide, you can likely make a better decision that's right for you. So setting up a company in one state and registering it to do business in another state is called foreign qualification. That's because the company's from a different state. If the company name you chose is already taken in your home state, We also added DBA, doing business as name. Now, can it save you money in taxes? Well, most likely not. But the benefit is, and this is something that most attorneys don't know, in most states, the intercompany matters, such as matters among the members and the operating agreement, are determined by the laws of the state where the company is formed and not where the owners lived. I've studied the case law, so I've seen it. So yes, there may be some extra benefits by using companies from business-friendly states as long as you know what's involved. And that's what I do personally, because to me it's worth it. And if an extra cost in the low hundreds isn't worth it to you, just organize your LLC in the state where you operate. Now, if you're 18 years old with little money, starting a lawn care business, set up the company in your home state. Otherwise, just consider your options. Now let's go a step further. Which jurisdiction has the strongest asset protection laws on the planet? I've studied them. It's the Caribbean island of Nevis, Nevis. Once your money is in the company for a couple of years, Nevis courts won't even accept a lawsuit trying to take it away from you. If somebody gets a charging order against your company, it expires in 3 years and it can't be renewed. In the US, that's 20 years total. In Nevis, it's only 3. Then we take the Nevis company and we register it to do business back home. And that's going to cost in the low thousands. So you don't have to go to those other states and countries. And I'm not suggesting that you do. I'm just informing you and letting you decide. For specific information about your situation, you can call our attorneys and consultants and hash this out further. So step number 2 is jurisdiction. Decide where you want to form your LLC. Step number 3, we've already talked about choosing a name and how to do that and choosing a jurisdiction. So step number 3 is filing the Articles of Organization. The Articles of Organization is the set of documents that gets filed to form your LLC, and they have to be worded properly. In some states, the articles need to have specific wording, or else they don't protect you like they should when a lawsuit strikes. So you have to know the laws of the jurisdiction where your LLC is filed in order to draft the articles right. Now, of course, I don't have time here to cover all 50 states, and the state won't help you. A state employee will just say, you're going to have to contact an attorney. We can't give legal advice, and that's what they're trained to say over and over and over again, or else they get in trouble. Now, the Articles of Organization have your company name, often your business address, the name of your registered agent. The registered agent needs to be an actual physical address where there's a person during business hours. The registered agent accepts official mail and legal documents on behalf of your business. It accepts legal papers if somebody wants to sue your business. So if you don't want a process server banging down your door in front of your spouse and your kids for all your neighbors to see, call us because we provide that in all 50 states and offshore. So call us and we can help with that. Now, in some states, such as New York, you also have to publish a notice in a local newspaper or two. Some states want information such as the initial members or managers. Some states don't require you to list the initial members. So those documents get filed in the proper state office. The state office that files companies has different names in different states. There will also be a filing fee to pay, which varies state to state. A document will come back from the state telling you your LLC has been filed. So now at this point, if it was a civilized thing to do, I would jump up here on my desk and scream at the top of my lungs, that's not enough. That's because if you just stop right there, you might as well not file an LLC at all, because you won't get all of the lawsuit protection or tax benefits that you have coming to you for forming an LLC. You've basically just wasted your time and money and have done nothing to protect yourself. And that's the whole point of forming an LLC, right? Lawsuit protection is a big one. So number 4, you need an operating agreement. See my video on the 5 big mistakes people make with their LLCs for more details. An operating agreement is a document. Now think about it. Operating agreement. It's an agreement that helps you operate your business. It acts as a contract of sorts between you and your LLC and any other members your LLC may have now or in the future. It details how your LLC protects you from somebody else prancing in and taking your membership in the company away from you. If it's not worded properly, depending on the state, somebody can sue you and waltz right in and take your company and all of its assets. Worded properly, it provides a barrier between yourself and somebody who wants to sue you and your company. Now, our in-house attorneys and I have, over several decades, finely tuned what I consider to be the most powerfully protective operating agreement in the planet. It's even copywritten, so it's unique. The operating agreement also might discuss how you're going to be compensated. We like to leave that as broad as possible so you get to decide if you have the control when you need it. What happens when your company is dissolved, any meetings you may require, then you need to be sure to follow the terms outlined in your operating agreement. That way, as we discussed in the other video we mentioned, if somebody tries to come in and pierce your corporate or company veil, a properly worded operating agreement can stand in the way and protect you. So the key thing is to know the laws of your state and what it requires. Step number 5 is the annual filing. Your annual filing. You need to make sure that you file all of the paperwork that's required every year. Now, there are going to be filing fees. In fact, we have a whole department here, and that's all they do, help people with their annual renewals. Now, you have to do this each year in most states to be sure your company stays active. I've seen people neglect this important annual step. Then somebody sues the company. Then they get surprised that there isn't any company at all. So the lawsuit defaults to them personally. They lose millions of dollars in personal assets when they could have just kept the company going for a few $100s a year. We just had a client who we set up a company for years ago, put a bunch of real estate in it. We kept reminding them to renew. Then when they went to sell it, the title company said the company didn't exist. So they needed to pay to renew the company, plus some massive late fees that the state imposed. Plus, if somebody sued the company while it was defunct, they'd have been just dead meat personally. So make 100% sure you're doing all of the annual reporting requirements. If you don't have a company anymore. So that's what our lawyers here do. They make sure that you do things right and make sure things are set up right in the beginning so that when the legal bazookas start flying toward your head, you're tucked into a concrete bunker of a properly structured LLC. So that's what to do, and that's how to set up and operate an LLC. Thanks for watching. Please make sure to text a link of this video to anybody who needs it. Click like and subscribe. This is The Business Guy.